The perceived rivalry.
Let's read the text. WNBA players will never make the money they deserve if we keep doing this. Saying having money and deserve in the same sentence is confusing to me. We are going to dissect this clip and this WNBA thing. Let's go to work.
Between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark is not saving the WNBA. It is not a bandage to the issues that the WNBA is having and has been having for years. Okay, the problem that the WNBA is having and that the players who play in this league are having is the lack of pay for their work, which is showing up every...
Stop the presses. I'm sorry I had to stop it so quickly, but let's understand something. She said this Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark thing is not saving the WNBA. It's not a bandage to the issues that the WNBA are having. We're 19 seconds in and I'm already... She said the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese rivalry is not a bandage to the issues that the WNBA is having. The real issue is that they need to get paid. The rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark helps sell the WNBA. The rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark is a selling point for advertisers for the WNBA. They need that rivalry to sell viewership. If you can sell viewership and attract more viewers, you can sell ads. Okay?
Every single day and being a professional athlete, which is what NBA players do. Okay, so whether you agree that WNBA players deserve to be paid more or not, it doesn't discount the fact that they are putting in the work that a professional athlete like an NBA player, an NFL player is putting in, and they are not seeing.
I want you to know, I'm trying so hard not to keep pausing this. I'm doing this for you.
The return on their investment, okay, of their time and their effort in the form of their paycheck from the WNBA. The growth that women's sports are experiencing is incredible. But the reason that they aren't being paid what the men are being paid is because not as many people are putting their eyeballs on the games. Not as many people are buying tickets to see the games. Not as many TVs are on the games, okay? The reason for that is because...
Okay. So, she just said that the reason the WNBA players aren't being paid as much or what they deserve is because there's not a lot of viewership. There's not a lot of people buying tickets. People aren't showing up to the games. So, she's right. So, we've acknowledged that she understands economics to a degree, at least in this situation, pertaining to the WNBA. Her most recent statements proves that as it pertains to the situation regarding the WNBA players and their pay, she understands economics. Also, I want to acknowledge something else. She said these women deserve to get paid because of return on their investment and they invest their time and they work hard. They work just as... Okay. Investors aren't going to invest in a product that they don't believe they're going to get a return on. Okay? They want a return on their investment too. The WNBA is a product. Advertisers want a return, or at the very least, they want to break even. Can I break even? If I invest in this product, what do I need to break even? What do I need to see a return? Investors want a return too. Not just, she's sitting here talking about the WNBA players need a return on their investment for the time that they put into practice, for the time that they put in. Investors need a return for the money that they put in. Let's continue.
Marketing this perceived rivalry between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark might benefit Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark because the world knows who they are. The world is paying attention to what her story is saying and where she's going and what they're doing. None of that has anything to do with basketball, though. And so while that might make them household names and get them into a Gatorade commercial, which might line up their pockets, it doesn't make more people watch what else is going on in the league. And for people to say that there's not an interest in non-Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark related storylines is absolutely false, because I was at...
What's the other selling point? What's the other selling piece? What else about the WNBA are you going to sell to get people to watch? If you don't have the Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark drama, rivalry storyline, how else are you going to sell the WNBA? Storylines help sell games. Magic Bird. Steph LeBron. These rivalries create storylines and headlines for the games that attract viewership. There's no other headline. There's no other rivalry. There's no other storyline that the WNBA has produced that is a selling piece to attract viewership, to attract advertising dollars, to attract interesting commercials. What is the other selling point besides Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? There's nothing else to sell to attract viewers. I'm trying. I'm trying.
The season opener New York Liberty game against the Las Vegas Aces, and it was all about basketball. And it was packed to the brim, and there were people buying merch, and there were people who paid for their tickets, and there were fans that were loud about players that you might have never heard of as a casual WNBA fan, as a sports fan who hears WNBA discourse. And that's because all morning I watch sports television all morning. It's part of my morning routine, okay? Every show I had tuned into that covered the WNBA today talked about a Caitlin Clark foul on Angel Reese, and then the post-game press conference that followed it.
Yes.
What a lot of people aren't understanding about this rivalry between Angel and Caitlin, that this isn't a rivalry between two players, okay? Those are women that have been playing against each other at a high level since the 8th grade. And to be quite frank with you, Angel Reese has been winning that battle all along, which is part of the reason why it has this interesting villain narrative, because Caitlin, in my opinion, objectively is the better player, right? They play two different positions, but she's the better player. But Angel has been the winner and the one who gets the last laugh every single time. And so it's frustrating to watch this great hope for women's basketball lose and lose to this villain that brags and is brash and arrogant, right? Now that this rivalry is translating into a professional setting where these players are playing two completely separate roles. Angel is on a team, the Chicago Sky, that have won a championship in this decade with a veteran-led roster. So now they're rebuilding. Right? They draft Angel high up and they draft Camila Cardoso high up in hopes to rebuild back to a championship sort of situation with a brand new coaching staff, putting their star Angel Reese in a position to be a more versatile point forward type of player that we haven't seen her be before. It's new to her. It's a new era for the entire Chicago.
Star is a strong word. Angel Reese is relevant because she did this in Caitlin Clark's face. Let's continue.
Sky franchise. Whereas the Indiana Fever had the number 1 overall draft pick right before Caitlin. And so now they're like, okay, number one pick. We want to be in a position to win now. Made the offseason moves that were necessary to put Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston in a situation to contend for a championship.
We're talking about money. We're talking about money. She wanted to castigate sports shows for talking about the foul that Caitlin Clark did on Angel Reese. Okay, so it's about money. Sports shows talk about and debate topics that attract viewership, right? Viewership, ratings, advertising dollars. It's always about the money. If First Take or what other sports show, First Take, The Facility, First Things First, whatever, if they're talking about the foul that Caitlin Clark did on Angel Reese, they're talking about it because a lot of people are talking about it. because a lot of people want to hear about it. They want to hear the perspectives of the professionals and the analysts. If people are talking about, if the analysts are discussing and debating that topic, people are going to watch it because it's a hot topic, because it's going viral. The clip of Angel Reese being fouled by Caitlin Clark is going viral. People are going to tune in to watch it, which contributes to the ratings, which contributes to the advertising dollars, which contributes to the revenue, which contributes to the analysts being paid what they are paid. It's about the money. It's about the money. That helps the WNBA. That rivalry, that foul, people discussing the foul. Do you get it?
Now, in the next couple of years, okay? The Chicago Sky are not in that situation. So every time we see this rivalry, right, this year play out, we're going to see the Indiana Fever, a championship built team, play against a rebuilding team and be like, wow, this rivalry kind of sucks. So now we're in a situation where we're leaning on this rivalry to get people to watch the games, but when they tune into the games, all they're seeing is a blowout. And all they have to cling on to is, hey, that flagrant foul was a little rough, and look at how that girl responded, and let's look at the post game and see what they're saying, and stuff that has nothing to do with basketball, because who the cares?
Because there's nothing else to sell. There's nothing else to sell about the product, the WNBA. There's nothing else to sell except for the rivalry. There's nothing else to sell.
Cares about a blowout between a rebuilding team and a team that's built to contend right now. So then the narrative goes away from basketball again. And what does that do in turn for the problem at hand? Getting more people to watch the actual basketball? Nothing. I keep seeing this getting
nothing, because there's nothing else to sell. There's nothing else to market. Tell me you don't understand marketing and headlines and storylines without telling me you don't understand marketing, headlines, and storylines. This happens in the NBA. This happens in the NBA. They want to get it. They want to get paid, and we need to get paid what the men get paid. We work just as hard as they do, and but you don't have the results. In the NBA, they dunk. They cross dudes up. They shoot from half court in exhibition games. NBA players get their jerseys burned. They get batteries thrown at them. They get bottles thrown at them. But you want to complain. NBA players get racist slurs sprayed on their property, but you want to complain when some dude in the crowd or some girl in the crowd says something about. If you want to get paid the way they get paid, do what they do, handle what they handle, the criticism, the storylines. If you don't, stop asking for the money.
Compared to Bird and Magic, these aren't two championship contending teams playing against each other constantly for high stakes situations. They're playing for the court of public opinion at this point. And it's kind of putting Angel Reese at a loss where she can't win, right? Because she's in a new position in order to help her team win, which is what she got called out for last year, double fishing. Because if she's not putting up the stats, y'all are going to say, oh, she can't play. She's not Caitlin Clark. She's not that girl, whatever. But if she is playing the role she's getting asked to, that might not show up as much on the stat sheet right now, that could help her be in a position to win a championship in the future. She's going to get made fed of anyways, and then she's losing on national television, on rivalry, big hallmark matchups constantly. So you're putting Angel in a situation where not only is she unsafe and people are being racist to her face at basketball games.
Stop asking for the money. Stop asking for the money. Fans are going to say stuff. They always have, they always will. But you're complaining? You're crying? Oh, the fan said something this about me. We need to have them. You cannot pay someone from a pot that does not exist. The reason the NBA players get paid the way they do is because they have a pot that enables them to be paid the way they do. The WNBA does not have that pot. The WNBA definitely doesn't have that pot. The NBA has that pot. They have a positive pot. WNBA doesn't have a pot. You cannot pay someone from a pot that doesn't exist. And the fact that you're being paid with a non-existent pot says a whole lot. Now, her earlier statements proved that she understood economics to a degree as it pertains to the situation. So, what it seems to me is that women who are complaining about not making what NBA players make, they want advertisers and investors to forsake economics on the altar of fairness and emotions. She said, okay, yeah, I get it. You know, people aren't watching, which means that, you know, people aren't watching, people aren't buying tickets, people aren't buying paraphernalia, merchandise, people aren't buying. So that means that you can't pay, so you understand it. But you're still complaining. Which means you want these people to forsake economics, revenue, dollars on the altar of emotions and what you believe you deserve. Money is not about what you deserve. Money is about what you earn. Earnings, projected earnings, future earnings, quarterly earnings. Earnings, not quarterly deservings. Not projected deservings. Not future deservings. Projected earnings. Projected earnings. That's what money is about. Can we put this to bed now? That is it for me today. Catch y'all in the next video.